They should please assist us and rescue us from the hands of these people.
An kai musu naira miliyan 9 suka sako diyana sannan suka ce ni kuma ba za su ke ni.
Northwestern Nigeria is witnessing high level of kidnapping, with victims forced to pay ransom in millions of naira.
And it is a booming business. If there's no serious effort to check it, I don't foresee when it will stop.
This is forcing residents to devise means to protect themselves, as the kidnappers do not discriminate their victims. The governor of Katsina State, Aminu Bello Masari, has one time tasked residents to take up arms and protect themselves.
Does it mean we have nothing to take against us? Against them? Do you mean that we should vacate all our villages, all our farms, all our houses, and surrender them to bandits? And wait for Police Officer General Emeka all the way from Enugu to come to Kaduna and they rescue me? This is ridiculous.
How are the communities protecting themselves and surviving the kidnappers? We went in search for answers. Ahmed Abdul Kader is a retired NBC director. He's worried about the kidnapping crisis bedeviling Katsina State and want to bring to light the problems facing his people. Abdul Kader, who was recently kidnapped with his daughter with millions paid before his release, is heading to Guga, a community on the Bakori local government area, a distance of about 162 kilometers from Katsina.
And they are human beings like us.
When the Katsina State governor tasked residents to take up arms and protect themselves, it was a battle line drawn between the kidnappers and the community. After several attacks on the kidnappers, they became furious and took it out on vulnerable communities like Guga.
Sun zo sun abin nan sun yi kashe-kashe sun kashe mutane 12 kuma ni da talakawa na mu 36 sun tafi da mu cikin daji baya ga kone-kone da suka yi da kuma dabbobi da suka sato daga unguwar Galadima. Sun tafi da mu cikin daji sai da muka yi kwana 27 sannan muka dawo.
According to Center for Democracy and Development, the formation of Yansake was gradual and decentralized, with various communities taking up arms in stages over the past 2 decades in response to insecurity and the shortcomings of the justice system. The kidnappers had gotten information that the community was supporting the Yansake vigilante group.
Ni ne da suka fara ɗaurewa a kafa. To suka ce za su yi bincike sun samu ina da hannu wajen ina taimaka ma 'yan sa kai to ba ma zan dawo cikin al'umma ta da kuma suka ga binciken su ga ban da hannu na ce musu ne abin da nake da shi inda criminal case ne ban sa baki hidima ce ta 'yan sanda sun samu tun da laifi suka shi kotu amma in civil case ne shine nake tace na alan zaura amma criminal case an hana mu sa baki ce to ai laifi na kenan ni da an kashe masu 'yan uwa ba ni ce to ai wannan abu ne na hukumar jami'an tsaro suke da wannan su bincika su gano waɗanda suka yi maka wannan tunda mu san su ba an zo dai cikin dare an yi abin da aka yi.
But on the other hand, the Yansake vigilante group members are controversial. They are accused of excesses and taking laws into their hands, which only aggravated the security situation of the state.
This Yansake they go beyond what they were supposed to do. So I believe that may have forced the governor to now announce that they cannot go hunting for these bandits from village to village, from town to town. What he advocated was that people should defend their villages.
In Guga, they have the moderate version of Yansake called Yambanga. This vigilante group is a set of people in the community with locally made arms that are of no match to the sophisticated weapons of the kidnappers. When the kidnappers arrived Guga, because of their number, they did nothing.
to a yadda suka zo da ƙarfi gaskiya da wuya su iya tunkara su. Yadda suka zo da ƙarfi suka zo da yawa kuma da wuya su iya tunkara su. Su ko 'yan banga kaga su suna tare da hukuma. In sun kama hukuma suke kama. Hukuma ta bincika. Hukuma kuma abu ne tunda abu ne criminal case ne, laifi ne mai nauyi mai girma, 'yan sanda ake ba. Dan ni kamar da na ce ma anything criminal case nan ban entertaining din shi nan zaure, sai in ba 'yan sanda aikin su ne kuma ban bi kowanne gaskiya shi tafi da shi.
The village head was not only the kidnappers' victim, a large number of the community members were also taken along.
Muna zaune na idar da sallar isha'i na zauna kawai sai ga yaron nan gidan saurayi ya rugo da gudu ya ce min mama akwai baki a garin nan. Baki Khalid ya ce bakin barayi. Kawai sai na tashi da yara kanana a daki na sai na ce to ku tashi kun ji Khalid ya ce akwai barayi. Sai na kwashe su sai muka tsallaka wannan gidan makwabcinmu. To sai muka bar yarinyar mabudurwa nan cikin gida. Na je inda muka yi gudun tsira ba mu tsira ba sai suka iske mu. Suna shiga gidan da muke suka bugi kofai. Mai gidan ashe ma mata shi bata nan mu muka shiga. Buga in baka bude ba za mu harbe ka. Za mu ci kaza suka yi manyan zagi. Ni ma sai na taso sai na fito ɗakin da muke suka dalla hitila. Amma saboda sun san nan ne gidan mu ba can ba sai ba su yi wani bincike ba. Suka ce to kuma tai suka hada da ni da yara 7. Sai mai gidan da yaron shi gurgu ne suka taho da mu. Sai na zo kwa gida wai ashe mai garinmu ne a kwance a ƙasa. Ban gane shi ba. Sannan suka tada shi tsaye suka ta samu muka tafi. Muka tafi can bakin hanya bakin kasuwa nan suka fara aje mana zango. Suka fara kone-kone sadda kafin su ta samu mutai bakin hanya sun kona shago 3 wanda ni na gani da idonmu. To da muka je in sun ji motsin kaman za a tarbe su sai su ce duk mu zauna ƙasa. Mu zauna in aka samu minti 30 su kuma su ce mu tashi mu. To da haka har suka kai mu ƙauyen da za su kai mu. Ni ban san sunan ƙauyen ba, Shawuri ake ce ma ƙauyen. Da muka je Shawuyan ma ta karfe 6 kuma sai suka loda mu a babura sai suka tafi. Duk wannan tahiyar mai tsanani da muka yi a mashin muka yi ta ga wuya ga faduwa ga hayaniya dai ta wahalarwa. Sai suka kai mu kwananmu 27.
Madidan Binta Guga, on the day they were raiding his community, was lucky not to be at home but in Katsina. The kidnappers, according to information, were coming for his head.
Some people believe that they were angered by my absence, so they decided to burn my house. According to the people and according to the bandits there, they said, had it been I was present when they come, they would have killed me. That's what they said. I'm a community leader, part of the community leader. Every decision in the town, I am part of every decision, decision making in the town. So I think there is maybe some information that we bought some weapons for the vigilante group, or I don't know. We did nothing. We did nothing. We did nothing. We didn't wrong them. We did not attack them. We did not kill them. Only that they were born and brought up here. So I don't know. Maybe they have some grudges against some people in the town. That's all. But we did nothing. We did nothing wrong. We did not attack them. We did not kill them. I know some of their relations were killed, but even the bandits agreed that nobody in the community was involved in attacking and killing their relations. They named some people. They are not even in the Guga village area. They don't belong to the Guga village area. Not in Guga town, but even the area, Guga village area, they don't belong to the Guga village area. So the issue of our revenge mission, as far as I'm concerned, is not acceptable.
The continuous kidnapping crisis is displacing local communities. Guga may not be safe, but it is accommodating some internally displaced persons.
Cikin watan azumi na bara 12 da wata ranar Litinin, Allah kadara karfe 1 da dan wani abu suka faɗo mana muna zazzanne. To suka fasa mu a garin nan, ce muke ma iyalinmu za su ɗauka. To sai Allah ya kaddara ba wanda suka tafi da shi, amma sai ƙananan dabbobinmu wa'anda Allah ya sanya aka rage a lokacin su suka tarkata suka tafi da su. Sai shi kuma wannan yaro na guda ɗaya da aka kashe, harbin shi aka yi. Amma Allah ya kaddara harbin bai yi tasiri ba, sai kuma suka buge shi da mashin kuma suka kona mashi bangaren sashen jikin shi guda ɗaya. Dan tun daga kafaɗa hannun shi na ganin har ƙafar shi hallar ɗin shi sai da suka kona da mashin. Magana ɗan ta'adda wani laifi za ka yi mashi, ai babban laifin shi dama tsakaninka da shi dai kayan ka yake so, kai ko in ka ce baka yadda kuma ya taɓa maka kaya ba, kaga laifi ya samu. To wannan shine babban laifi tsakaninmu da su, da mu da matanmu da yaranmu kamar mu 500 ne ko da 20, ba kowa garin. In ka ga wani mutum sai dai haka da rana in mun je, dan ko yanzu ana zuwa, amma dai a zanne ba kowa. Duk mun kwaso kayanmu, wasu kuma bangaren kwanonin garinmu barayin sun zo sun kware mana su, sun tashi da su. Galemaninmu na shanu to wasu sun an ɗaɗɗauka. Bangaren gadajenmu kuma na mata an koka man da yawa, don an koka man kamar gado 10 ne wanda aka ce ba shi an ɗauke shi. Mu yanzu muna nan a garin Guga Zani, mun sami gidaje wa'anda aka ba mu. To amma ko da muke a nan yanzu, daga cikin mu nan ina ganin wasu mu ke a nan, wasu mu kuma ba a nan suke ba, saboda duka gaba ɗaya mun fasuha. Dan ina ganin yanzu mu da ke a mutumin unguwar Hudu wanda yake a nan, ina ganin kamar mu 54 yanzu. Sauran wasu suna Kakumi, wasu suna Gidan Jaura, wasu suna Zagin Kara, wasu suna Dan Marke, wasu suna Binnin Gwari.
The people of Guga, like other communities in Katsina State, are living in fear. For lack of effective security system, they pray the kidnappers never come back. Although they have taken some measures of protecting themselves, they are not confident they can stand the firepower of the kidnappers. They rather resolve their fate to God for security. The people advise we leave Guga early since we had our mind to traveling to Bakuri, 22 kilometers away from Guga. The road, especially in the evening hours, they observe is always hijacked by kidnappers and bandits. So we hurried our way out of Guga. This is Bakuri, and we're heading to meet the local chief security officer to know how their self-defense mechanism is changing their lives.
Muna jin ana cewa an kama wani gari kaza, an kama wance gari kaza, an je gari kaza an kama wance. Abin nan tun muna jin shi nesa, sai wata rana hakiminmu mai girma Makaman Katsina, hakimin Bakuri, sai ya gayyaci 'yan kasuwa, 'yan siyasa, ma'aikata da masana tsaro suka zo muka haɗu muka zauna a fadar shi, muka kalli irin yadda abubuwan ke tahowa ana ta yi a garuruwa. Har a lokacin an zo wajen karfe 1 dare an kama wani wanda ake ce mai Dan Mari a 1 Million Road, an kama mutum ɗaya an tafi da shi. Wannan abin shi yasa Makama ya gayyaci waɗannan mutane a zo a ga me mafita akan wannan matsala. Wannan daga nan sun zo karfe 1 na dare sun kama wannan Dan Mari. Ana nan kuma an fara ɗaukan mataki, sai suka ɓadda mutane, sai suka zo 12 na dare, sun rage awa 1 kenan kan wancan, sai suka kama wani mai Alhaji Shamsu a wajen ƙarin kudu mai sai da yadiddika. Ana ta ɗaukan mataki, an rarraba 'yan sintiri a gari. Ana nan sai suka zo kuma suka dawo ƙarfe 11 suka kama Alhaji Adamu wanda ake ce mai Alhaji Adamu Kutubi. To daga nan ne fa abin ya girma, aka ƙara gayyato har na wajen Bakuru su zo su taimaka mana. daga nan kuma suka zo Shema Quarters suka kama wajen mutum 9.
We told you stories of Bakori in our previous episode. Bakori, a local government in Katsina State, has had its own share of experience with kidnappers. For every kidnapping in Bakori, the people pay in millions to get their loved ones back.
Saboda dama can mai martaba sarki ya ba mu wannan dama cewa mu yi wannan abu saboda mu taimaki kanmu da kanmu. Abin da ya sa ko saboda su 'yan sandan da muke da su duka duk yawan Bakori muna da communities kusan guda 400 da wani abu wanda settlement ne na mutane, 'yan sandan mu ba su kai 100 ba. To kuma muka ga cewa dole sai mun taimaka mu jami'an tsaro inda mu ma za mu tsare kanmu kamar yadda gwamnatin jihar Katsina shi ma mai girma gwamna ya ce kowa ya tsare kanshi.
Gaskiya tun daga mutum 9 da aka kama a Shema Quarters aka tahi da su, kuma Allah ya taimake mu cikin damina ne yaran mu suka bi su har wajen kilomita 12 hanyar Danja. Ana ta harbe su suna da bindiga mai kyau, yaran mu suna da harbi karuga. Wannan abin yasa suke tsoron shigowa Bakuri har yanzu saboda sun san mutanen Bakurin nan ba zaune suke ba, in an bi su in an taba su bi suke yi. Saboda haka cikin mutum 9 nan kusan mutum 7 duk sun dawo, mutum 2 ne dai aka tafi da su.
Amidst the kidnapping crisis, the people believe it is an organized crime. They believe the kidnappers have informants.
When they came to my house, they broke my window and gained access. Immediately after the window, the first room there is the room where my kids usually sleeps. After that room is a room to my wife. They left those 2 rooms and came straight to my room. And you can't gain access to my room unless you pass through my study. They passed through my study and came to my room. By the time they brought me outside, out of my room, I noticed that the room to my wife is locked. Some of them were trying to enter the room to my kids. I told them, you don't need to enter. It's only my kid. I am here. They have found me, so don't bother with my kids. Somebody still insisted that their telephone line should be retrieved. I said none of them has a telephone line. So unless they get information about the architecture of my house, I can't see how they will leave my kids, my wife, and come straight to my room.
The kidnapping crisis ravaging the Northwest has created intertribal conflict.
The stock has been dwindling. Generally, that is in terms of Fulani, their stock of cattle has been dwindling because it was getting more and more difficult, even raising the animals, because the reserves have been turned into farmland. And at the beginning, it was clash between Fulani and farmers, Fulani farmers. Gradually, the Fulani lost out because the grazing reserves were depleted. And there is the traditional rustling, cattle rustling. But then a point came when actually criminals began to waylay Fulani and take their cattle. And then we have a increasing number of Fulani that are dispossessed, and they didn't know they had to survive anyway. So their way of life is changing, and it's changing so suddenly. And this change is very drastic because it is dispossessing them of their economic livelihood and generally putting them at a loss.
A lot of people can tell you stories of kidnapping in Bakori. If they have not experienced kidnapping directly, they have seen their loved ones kidnapped.
There are 2 things. Sometimes they came out in force and attack a village and destroy lives and property. Then there is targeted kidnapping. what they usually do in around our area, especially those local governments located close to the forest, whoever has money, he's a target. When you get to Jibia, Basari, Safana, most of the rich people were forced to migrate to either Katsina or Kaduna or Kano. Once you have money and you live in the rural area, you are a target. If you are a prominent politician, you are a target. In fact, that is what forced me to come back to live in Katsina. I was living in the village. Even when I was a member, I will usually come and sit in the house for 3 days. If I don't have any oversight function, I get back to my village and spend 5 days. But I was forced to leave the village and come to live in Katsina.
So yana suka fara sakowa yan mata din, ni kuma kwana na 31 gaji Allah ya kubuto da ba an kai kudi, sai wanda kai kudi sannan wani abu ya faru sannan suka kubuto da yayan nawa, ni kuma suka ce ba za su ke ni ba, sai da ni kwana 31 an kai musu naira miliyan 9, sannan sun suka sako diyana, sannan suka ce ni kuma ba za su ke ni ba, bayan kai musu waɗannan naira miliyan 9 sai bayan kwana 31 sannan Allah ya kubuto da ni wannan kuɗi suka sako ni, sai da aka kara musu 150. To duk dai wanda kaga an zo an dauka a gidan shi, to gaskiya akwai shiri, ko ba haka ba? Gaskiya tunda bako bai san gidanka ba, bako bai san gidanka ba, sai an mashi kwatance, sai an mashi kwatance kaji.
The problems assailing the Northwest is nothing new to government authority. The effort committed by the police in Katsina State to combat the crisis is yet to gain public trust. We traveled to Katsina to meet with the Public Relations Officer Gambo Isa to ask him the question if victims have lost confidence on the police.
Some of them actually lost confidence. Some we can say some have been intimidated, threatened by these terrorists that if you tell police we are going to kill your father or your daughter. So actually it's not that they don't have confidence, but this fear. So many cases that have come to us, we've seen situations where families are even asking us please to stay away because these people are intimidating them, are threatening them that they are going to kill their wards, their family members, their parents or what have you. But some who have the confidence of coming to report to us, they've never regretted because we've rescued so many.
He also believed that part of the problems that has lingered the fight of kidnapping in the Northwest is the involvement of informants among the communities.
So many of these communities, as you see them, are involved into the issue of this banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling. Let me tell you, these criminals, these terrorists, they dare not come into the town. They stay throughout their life in the forest. But you are not surprised that their motorbikes hardly, you know, where do they get fuel? The spare parts. Are you telling me that they don't have mechanical problems? Or the tires, they don't look for all this? Okay, how do they survive? Means of sustenance. Who is providing them with food? Are you not asking questions about the arms and ammunitions? What is the source? How are they getting it? For how long we've been fighting them? Still, they are not out of stock. These are questions that you need to ask because they dare not come and into the town because definitely we will arrest them because they are not ghosts. They were staying with us inside communities. We know them by their face, by their names. So they are not ghosts. Who is providing them with all these basic necessities of lives and supplies for their operational needs? Communities, some communities members, You may be surprised that today you go into some of these villages, within 30 minutes, bandits are giving information about your arrival. And before you know, they will come and pick you up. You cannot go to your farm. Within 20 minutes of your arrival, you will see them on their motorbikes. And one thing, we've been arresting them here. When they used to confess, they will say, yes, actually we were the one who gave information on the arrival of so person, how he was kidnapped, this, they were the mastermind.
The kidnappers' informants have succeeded in instilling fear among some victims. This man, who did not want his face on camera, is scared. He was forced to pay ₦1 million ransom, which took the intervention of the entire community to secure his release. He said he cannot speak to us on camera because he no longer trusts anybody. The kidnapping crisis in Katsina State has multiple effects on the economy. The level of out-of-school children is on the increase. Farmers can no longer have access to their farm, and the crisis seems to be far from over.
I have a 500-hectare land in the forest, but for 7 years now, I have not been to the farm. I used to produce 3,000, 4,000 bags of maize, maybe 500 bags of soybeans, 500 bags of rice, paddy. Then a lot of people were also renting land from me. So when you look at the total production from my farm alone, for me and the rantees, sometimes we produce as many as 7,000 bags. For 7 years now, we have not been producing a single bag from that farm. When most of the people have migrated to the urban centers, and they are internally displaced people, how do you expect them to read? Do their kids to read? Most of the people living in the frontline local government have migrated to the city. If you have money, you can afford to buy a house or rent a house, then you are not an IDP. But I assure you, most of them are IDPs. So when they are battling to feed, how do you expect them to learn?
The way forward is through the Fulani leaders. I think the Fulani have a lot of respect for their leaders. And I think it is through the leaders that we can maybe call them, get them to sit down with the authorities and address the problem. It is only the Fulani that can talk to the kith and kin, and it is the Fulani that will talk to the Fulanis.
The Northwest is a vast terrain with many forests defining its borders. The kidnappers, according to victims and security experts, are familiar with this terrain. Engaging and flushing them out is a Herculean task. Whenever there is an engagement in Katsina State, the bandits and kidnappers relocate to Zamfara Forest, Kaduna or Niger State to continue their violence. Unless there is a collective security effort from the Northwest, the kidnappers and bandits will continue to play hide-and-seek game with the government, toying with the lives of the masses.